We continue our reading of Lest We Forget. Today's reading, January 5. Hopelessness points to hope. When I realized that my fate's the same as the fool's, I had to ask myself, so why bother being nice? It's all smoke. Nothing but smoke. The smart and the stupid both disappear out of sight. In a day or two, they're both forgotten. Humans die. We all end up as dust. Ecclesiastes 2:14-16, chapter 3, 19 and 20, Message Bible. Miller's service as a captain in the Second War against Britain, 1812 to 1814, provided a turning point in his life. Even before the conflict, he had begun to harbor doubts about the adequacy of his deist belief. Part of the problem was that deism promised an afterlife, but in actual fact, Miller had concluded that it logically led to nothingness after death. About the same time, Miller began to contemplate his own mortality and its meaning. On October 28, 1814, he wrote to his wife concerning a deceased army friend, "But a short time, and like Spencer, I shall be no more. It is a solemn thought." End quote. The hard facts of life were pushing Captain Miller toward the faith he had once so vigorously rejected. But he still had one hope. If only he could find true patriotism in the ranks of the army, he would be able to conclude that his faith in deism was not in error. "But," he penned, "2 years in the service was enough to convince me that I was in error on this thing also." The negative biblical picture of human nature appeared to be more accurate than the deist perspective, which taught that human nature was basically good and upright. But Miller could not find that verified in history. "The more I read," he wrote, "the more dreadfully corrupt did the character of man appear. I could discern no bright spot in the history of the past. The conquerors of the world and heroes of history were apparently but demons in human form." I began to feel very distrustful of all men. Miller's final belief crisis in deism had to do with what appeared to be an act of God in history at the Battle of Plattsburgh in September 1844. In that battle, an American, apology of an army, quote unquote, defeated a superior force of crack British regulars, some recently having been victorious over Napoleon. America had been all but certain to lose. Quote, "So surprising a result against such odds," end quote, Miller concluded, quote, "did seem to me like the work of a mightier power than man," end quote. Like the author of Ecclesiastes, Miller was being forced by the hard facts of life to take another look at God. The good news is that the hard facts of life are still in our day performing the same function. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.